Sheenshots.
Yeah, boy.
The Immaculate. Many an outward player has been defeated by this relentless foe. Standing tall with a total of 775 health and 50 impact resistance, the Immaculate has only one weakness: lightning. But what really motivates this terrifying enemy? How come in some instances you can fight alongside an army of them, and yet other times they wish for nothing but to end your tiny life? And that's not even where the craziness ends. You can find a passive Immaculate who not only will be friendly, but he will offer you extremely useful gear. With some of them good and some of them bad, it can be hard to get a grasp on who these creatures really are. This is outward lore on the Immaculate. To truly understand what the Immaculates are, we must first look at where they came from, and that brings us back to the corruption. About 100 years before our character strikes out into the open world of RI, there was a group called the Cabal of Wind. This was an extremely powerful class of wizards who worshipped the five winds. One of these wizards is now the current god, Immaculates. At the time, however, he was a mere human. Do not let his being human deceive you, though. He was well known for his power and actually had enough followers to threaten the Cabal of Wind. Long story short, the Cabal of Wind thought of him as a traitor and blasted him with enough magical power to completely drain the region of mana. Unfortunately for the world, Immaculates would not be so easily killed. Instead of dying, Immaculates focused all his will into himself and became living thought. He now had immortality and immense power, but there were consequences. You see, corruption had always existed in the world of RI, but it was controlled and contained. The Cabal of Wind knew this corruption held great power, and used it in their mana bomb when they defeated Immaculates. This is what created the Scourge. Immaculates' essence was basically split in half, his holy god-like half becoming living thought, while his physical body exploded with corruption and created a canyon now known as the Gates of Catharsis. This is how the Immaculates were born. The Immaculates, as well as the other Scourge beasts, emerged from the Gates of Catharsis through an unknown means. Our best assumption is that humans, giants, and possibly other creatures were completely taken over by this corruption. The result was a mass of terrifying monsters who hate Immaculates. This is where the Immaculates stand out amongst the Scourge. All Scourge have an extremely powerful hatred for Immaculates and his followers. This can be seen by having your character enter the friendly Immaculate's cave as an Immaculates follower. Rather than offering you gifts, he will immediately try to murder you. Most of the Scourge are mindless beasts and have absolutely no problem with this vendetta that has been forced upon them. The Immaculates, however, are intelligent. Most can speak, read books, and even hold negotiations with humans. As it turns out, the majority of Immaculates want to get rid of this hatred and become their own tribe in the outward world. Until our character comes along, this had not been possible. Upon starting outward, our character realizes they must join a faction, and can choose between any of the four options. The Harmattan questline is extremely fun at the cost of being more difficult than the rest. What is interesting about this faction, though, is that the entire story is about curing the Immaculates of their hatred and volatile nature. You are tasked with appealing to the leader Immaculate in a cave and getting him to agree to be cured and then start peace talks with the humans. Additionally, you get to converse with a unique Immaculate called the Butcher of Men. This powerful enemy is usually defeated at the end of each faction quest. The Harmattan questline, however, offers you the option of sparing his life as a potential ally in the future. You can either side to help cure the Immaculates or defeat them, but the important detail to focus on is they are not evil. Another interesting detail about the Immaculates is that they seem to be a species that can grow in power, similar to how humans can gain more skills and abilities. The Butcher of Men, for example, is a multicolored Immaculate that is more powerful and seems to be a sort of Scourge leader. Another example of this can be seen by looking at the Immaculate Ascendant. This enemy can only be reached by touching the main statue in the Cabal of Wind Temple while poisoned. What is interesting about this enemy is that fighting him will cause the friendly Immaculate to completely disappear altogether. It would seem that even this partially passive Immaculate gained immense strength by surviving in the wild. In the end, there is still much mystery that surrounds the Immaculates as a species. But maybe now you will think twice before slaughtering them like any other enemy in Outward. The Immaculates have hatred forced upon them and contain the potential to be helpful friends rather than devious monsters. Not only that, but their resemblance to humans is almost uncanny. Maybe, just maybe, they were once human, like us. I will leave you with two last pieces of information to ponder as you travel town to town slaying monsters. When talking to the Butcher of Men, you can get an interesting piece of dialogue where he mentions that he has two hearts. Lastly, we have an amazing quote from a book, Inside Outward. This is actually lore you can find in one of the caves. Those tall scourge creatures who wield weapons. The corruption seems to have done more than just mutate them from some animal. They are intelligent, powerful, unyielding in the face of death. They know no fear and feel no pain. These monsters appear to be designed to be perfect killing machines. They are, in a word, immaculate. I cannot avoid the conclusion that they must have once been human. Winds forgive us, and punish whoever did this to them, inflicting them upon us. Nothing could have been worth this. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know down in the comment section if you enjoyed this type of content, and let me know what you'd like to know more about in the future. Catch you next time.